My mic was muted. Hello, everyone. It is me. That is so annoying. Hello, everyone. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Welcome. Let's talk about the predictions because we have the election that just happened yesterday. If you are not familiar with any of my videos, I did predict that Kamala will be president. I don't think I said she would win the election. Because I do think, well, not I think, Saturn is in Pisces, Neptune's in Pisces. There's a lot of deceptions and lies and fogginess going on. What I do want to explain is why I still think Kamala is going to be president. I do know, and I am very cognitive and aware that Trump had all the support, which I did explain in a previous video before. Trump is sitting on top. Everyone loves Trump. You may not love Trump, okay? But Trump is sitting pretty, okay? Now, I do want to explain, and I am sorry to all my Trumpsters for being the bearer of bad news. I totally understand. I am not wearing black, by the way, because Trump won. I actually am going to give my personal opinion. I'm more for Trump than I am Kamala. Just straight up, I know that I am black and I know I'm a female and I am told that I am not supposed to, but it does not make sense in my brain. Okay. But I do want you to understand that I am speaking strictly as an astrologer. That is it. Okay. I want you to understand, speaking as an astrologer, that means that my sense, my common sense of everything I understand, I cannot comprehend it. For example, I see that Trump won the election. However, if I look at the astrology, Trump is not going to be president. I still stand by that truth, and I will explain that in this video. I am strictly an astrologer in this video, okay? Now, outside of this video, and even within astrology, I do know that Trump has a lot of support. If we look at the chart, and I will discuss why and I've said this in previous videos, that his support is really huge and everything looks great, and then it's going to be taken away. Not the support necessarily, just the fact that what we see as this illusion of him winning. Okay. Now, I do want to be familiar. I want you to understand that 4 years ago, when Trump won, he looked like he won. And then a few days later, Biden won. This could be the same kind of situation. Not exactly. It's different. We had COVID, everything changes. But I do want you to understand that I predicted that Kamala would even not even win. Okay. I predicted before Biden dropped out of the race. Biden was totally in a race, and I predicted that Kamala was looking like she was the leader. That was only through astrology. I woke up one morning and was like, let me look at the chart. And I'm like, why is she looking so pretty? And this was before anyone even said she was going to be running for president. I created that video in my pajamas on my cell phone because I was just looking at the astrology. I am still looking at the astrology. Now, in my normal brain of a human without being an astrologer, it is clear that Trump is the true winner when it comes to the votes. However, we live in this current climate. I don't see him being president. Okay, so now that that is said, I hope everyone understands, okay? And I am an American citizen, and yes, I did vote, and no, I did not vote for Kamala. So I do want you to understand why I'm still very much aware about the astrology. Okay, so I stand in my truth of my predictions. I've also even listened to a lot of astrologers that, not a lot, but maybe two astrologers that I really respect in this space, and they are very much on the same page that I am. And I didn't even look at their videos before. This is something I just looked at last night because I'm like, I'm not delusional. Now, I do want to give disclaimers, not even a disclaimer, but my husband is 100% a non believer. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait when this comes to light. I am going to, it's not even to prove to you guys, it is proving to him. Like, listen to what I'm saying to you. Okay. I've sat here and, okay. That's a therapy session for another time. Anyway, but I do have the naysayers, and I don't care about the naysayers as much as I care about my husband, because I'm like, listen here, I'm trying to tell you, if you only listen to me. Anyway, but yeah, that is how it goes. I do also want to understand, if you are a client of mine, you have to understand, if I had all these predictions about your life and of your past, if I was aware of your past without even discussing anything with you, why would it go astray now? It's not. Okay. Now, let's talk about some important things about this election. I'm going to bring up this here, and these are the reasons why I strongly believe the election results. I do think they are truth, and I do think they are valid. Okay. I do think that Trump has a lot of support. I do believe that he has the popular vote. However, with that said, these are the reasons why I don't think he's going to still be president. Okay. Jupiter is retrograding in the sign Gemini, currently in the sky right now. As of November 6th, I am filming this live November 6th. Okay. Oh, wait, I see some comments here. I see. Okay, hold on. Let me read the election themes, and then I'll read all the comments here. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces. Mars currently right now is not retrograding, but it's in the pre-shadow phase retrograding. That's huge for Trump. Okay. Now, Mercury and Jupiter are in their detriment. That means that they are in a planet that they are in a sign that is not comfortable to them. Okay. And Mercury, I already said, is in a pre-shadow phase as of November 7th, which is tomorrow. That's also involving Uranus is involving the the elections. Uranus, I said Uranus, Neptune is involved, the election, and Mercury is involved, the election and voting and counting. All that, and then it's in retrograde, okay, and starting to retrograde. Saturn is going to go direct very soon, and that represents the government, but Saturn is retrograding currently as we voted. Okay, now, and then I have the full moon coming up November 15th. I have discussed this in my November video, so you can check that out, but I want you to be aware of it, because we're going to discuss that. And Jupiter is going to square Saturn. Remember, Saturn represents the government. Okay. So that is what I have for the reasons why. And I'm going to break each reason down for you. Now, let me see what I have for some of these comments here. I see a reversal in this decision, especially with the unpredictable. Yes, Uranus, I will explain, but it's expect the unexpected. And also, literally everyone predicted. Yes, anyone who really knows astrology has predicted Kamala being president. I wouldn't say prediction of winning, because you can't never tell. Because, okay, let me just tell you why I wouldn't say prediction of winning the actual votes. The reason why and if I said that, I definitely misspoke, because I know how I think. I strongly believe it does not matter what the results are when Neptune is involved with the voting process, because Neptune is about delusions and secrets and fogginess. So there can always be a deception with what the true vote is. Okay. So the actual winning may not ever play a part when it comes to voting. And I've always explained that. And I said that in my prediction video about Neptune being involved of the voting process. Now, the energy is still developing. Yes, MMKK. Okay. Let them know. Okay. Maybe you need to call my husband. But yes, the energy is still developing. Now, I'm going to talk about each of the retrograding planets, okay? And I've discussed this already, but we're going to repeat it for the people in the back, because I still stand 10 toes down, okay? And again, I am not a Kamala supporter. I'm just an astrologer. That's a disclaimer. Also, too, I am very aware that Trump has a lot of supporters. If you are a Trumpster, I am not judging you for being a Trumpster. I'm only reading the astrology. Okay. So don't come for me. And if you do come for me, get ready, because I will come for you. Okay. Mercury and Leo. I got that Leo energy like Trump. Okay. We could duke it in the comments. I have no problem with that. Okay. Now, Jupiter is retrograding in the sign. Should I bring up the chart? Actually, I am. I'm going to bring up the chart so we can show everyone what is going on here. Okay. I have JD Vance here, but ignore that. Not ignore it, just ignore it for now. Okay. I'm going to take JD off and I'm going to put currently right now, this is November 6th, but we'll put it as of yesterday. Okay. That is the day that we were voting for the elections in America. Okay. And this is in Los Angeles because that's where I currently live. Okay. Now, let me tell you why I think that you guys, okay, Mercury is in the sign Sagittarius, and Mercury in the sign Sagittarius is very optimistic. Now, I know some of you guys are probably like, what is it, 41%? I'm not sure the amount of people who voted for Kamala. You guys are not optimistic, but Mercury in Sagittarius is like, okay, moving on. We're gonna push it. We're gonna believe in God. If you and I don't mean to laugh, okay? Because God, I believe in God. But if you are someone who is like, okay, it didn't work out in my favor, but I'm gonna have faith and I'm gonna believe in God. That's Mercury in Sagittarius. If you are someone like, I knew it's gonna win. That is Mercury in Sagittarius too, because it's very optimistic. Okay. So that is also currently in the sky, currently the vibe in the sky as we voted. Okay. Now, but what else is the vibe in the sky? One planet is retrograding, two. These are, we won't count these. Three, four, okay? And then what is pre-shadow retrograding? Where is it? Mars is in a pre-shadow retrograde. And what's going to retrograde in a pre-shadow phase tomorrow? Mercury. Okay. So now let me explain about Jupiter. Okay. Jupiter, and it doesn't matter where it is because this is just the collective energy, the vibe in the sky collectively. Okay. Jupiter in retrograde in the sign Gemini. That's about communication and having misinformation and confusion with communication. Okay. People may question the integrity of the process, media narratives. There could be some leading of widespread skepticism. Okay. Also, anytime we have any retrograde, no, that means delays, and also redoing, reconsidering. Gemini is the planet of communication. Okay. It is spreading the news. But why is it retrograding? What are we redoing in this story? Okay. Now let's talk about Uranus retrograding. Okay. And Uranus is expect the unexpected. Also, when a planet is retrograding, it's not acting in its best. Okay. It's not behaving how it should be behaving. So it could either be doing too much expected unexpected are not enough of expected unexpected. Uranus brings disruption, and then when you have it in the sign Taurus, then it shakes up the routine of our comfort zones. Okay, we are normally used to voting a certain way, and now it is shifted. What do you mean you need another day? What do you mean it's going to take a week? What is going on? Do we vote by mail? Do we count the mail or do we? Okay, you understand. Okay, there is disruption with the traditional voting system when you have Uranus in the sign Taurus. That is retrograding. Disruption, delays, expected, unexpected. Uranus retrograde can bring unexpected disruptions, delays in results, and maybe people are going to argue what is the result. Uranus is the highest planet of communication, the big planet of communication. Okay. So there could be a lot of communication that is not acting in its best light. Okay. And Uranus moves really fast. I know it doesn't move fast like Mercury, but when it's involved with aspects, things happen very impulsively. Okay. So you have to be aware of that. Now that's retrograding. So these delays, these surprises that might come our way could be really dragged on for the long haul. Okay. Adding tension to the electoral process. Now, Neptune is retrograding in Pisces. Now, this is where, I love me some Neptune because I'm a Cancer sun. I have a Scorpio moon. I love the water energy. But when Neptune is in a sign Pisces, you are already talking about secrets, confusion, disillusionment. But now you are talking about it's retrograding. So it's really in a fog. Okay. Deception, misinformation, confusion, lack of clarity. There are scandals. Retrograde periods could reveal something that's hidden or keep it more secretive, keep it more hidden. The agendas are so foggy You cannot see. And when you're dealing with a lot of people in government, they have a lot of 12th house. 12th house resonates with Neptune. It resonates with Pisces. They have a lot of those placements. So all of that is connected for a reason. And now Neptune is retrograding. All these planets retrograding means God wants us to redo something. Okay. And I'm going to say God because it is God. Okay. Okay. Potential for leading to scandals and controversies and shaking the public's trust can also happen with Mercury retrograde. I mean, Neptune retrograding. Now we have Mercury in the pre-shadow phase of retrograding. Tomorrow, which today is the 6th, but November 7th, Mercury is not in red. Red means retrograde, but Mercury is going to be in a pre-shadow phase. Why is it in a pre-shadow phase? Because you see here, as of November 27th, I think, it will retrograde, right? And it will go back. Okay, wait, no, let me go forward. And then it will go back all the way to 6 degrees. Here is 6 degrees. That's when it will stop retrograding. So, what does that mean for people who don't understand astrology? Meaning that we have to we're currently walking forward like la 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 la, everything's very optimistic, it's very faith-based. Okay, we're very adventurous, we're thinking about traveling, and then wait a minute, God says no, I want you to retrace those steps. So now you're just walking backward and you're going all the way back to that 6th degree where we are currently we are in right now. So something's going to be repeated. Okay, potentials anytime Mercury's retrograding. Okay, potentials for miscommunication and misinformation. This is about the 4th time I said that. Okay, I want you to understand logistics, the details. Mercury is about the details. Gemini is about the details too, and Jupiter is in the details. Okay, so we have all that is now causing some confusions or some challenges. Okay, focusing and redoubling up and rechecking and redoing. Okay, this also adds a lot of confusion. You're revisiting some old issues or old topics of the voting process. Again, delays, a lot of errors, a lot of confusion with messaging. Also, like we could be very negative when it comes to this whole process because Sagittarius is very optimistic and positive, but when it's retrograding, it's not very positive. It's actually could be very pessimistic. Also, Sagittarius is very vague. Again, it doesn't like the details. So are people just, oh, this state has this vote. We'll just say that California just is a Democrat. That can change, even though California is a Democratic state. But you get what I'm saying. It's just too vague. And that's what you have with Sagittarius. Sagittarius likes to look at the bigger picture. Mercury wants the small picture. Okay. A lot of truth and integrity is what you get with Sagittarius energy. And there's some controversies on what is the truth, what is the integrity here, what is the true alchemy balance. That's a whole nother, that gets a little bit too deep. But anyway, but gaps in preparation because Sagittarius doesn't want to prepare and being overconfident with this whole system process. That is what you get when Mercury is in a pre-shadow phase retrograde. Okay. Now, again, Mercury, not again, but I didn't say this and you may not know this, but Mercury doesn't like to be in a sign Sagittarius. Jupiter doesn't like to be in a sign Gemini. Actually, what Jupiter is at home in is Sagittarius. And what Mercury is at home in is in the sign Gemini. They are in complete opposite signs. So that again also adds to this confusion. Okay. Gemini and Sagittarius, they represent opposite sides of styles of talking and communicating and thinking. Okay. Gemini is all about multiple perspectives, while Sagittarius is like, let's just draw a broad stroke. Like, let's just a broad stroke. Okay. Like, let's just put them all as one. We can do all of it, but who cares about the minute details? Okay. And also, this can cause a lot of polarization, a lot of black and white, a lot of opposites not seeing eye to eye. Okay. A lot of doubling down and not seeing the other side of the story on each side. Okay. I call them the blooded and Crips because they are the blooded and Crips. This also can bring more of a division because you have two of these planets who are not at home and they're sitting in opposite signs. This can cause a huge division. Okay. This is what the vibe in the sky is saying. Now, I know that Trump won the popular vote and I know he won the electoral vote, but maybe in your community, there's a lot of oppositions of what's going on. Let me know if that's what you're going through. Jupiter and Gemini can amplify the spread of vast amount of information However, it's not really well researched, right? And then, sorry, I'm getting a lot of text messages and calls right now. But it's also erotic, unexpected voting kind of situation, challenging in messaging, difficulty in fact checking, and again, the polarizing narratives is really big with this. Okay, so that is just yet another reason why I stand where I stand. Okay, now Saturn goes direct. This is something that I have said several times, but I will say it again. Okay. Saturn currently is retrograding when we voted. Now it's going to go direct. Okay. When it goes, Saturn's right here, if you don't know. And I'm trying to see what date. Here we go. Saturn goes direct November 15th. Now, what I was explaining with Mercury retrograding is that now Saturn is going to repeat the steps that we did. So we voted, but guess what? Maybe your vote didn't count. We got to redo it. Now, why is Saturn important? Saturn is about stability. Saturn is about the structure, the foundation, and most importantly, Saturn represents our government. Okay. Now, Saturn stations direct in Pisces, especially right after the election. These themes could be about deception and confusion because it's in the sign Pisces. And remember, I was talking about Neptune? Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, okay? The modern ruler of Pisces, okay? So perceptions of dishonesty, misinformation, again, is tied into these elections, okay? Illusion, fog within the government, illusion, fog within the structure, illusion and fog within the stability, okay? Pisces side is about being in this fogginess and not having clarity, and it's retrograding. So I would say that it's in the shadow side. Okay. Also, Saturn in Pisces Saturn can represent an elder male authority figure. Pisces represents endings. I just want you to understand. Government party also will stay the same. Okay. Now I've said this in a prediction video. But I'm going to throw it in this one as well. Now, Saturn, right now, the Democrats are in party. Okay. Saturn is in a sign Pisces. If I go to January 15th, the inauguration, okay, normally Saturn will leave the sign because now we are going to another party system because Saturn represents not just the father, but it represents the government. Saturn is just in the middle of Pisces, meaning it still is in the same government party. Okay. The government is staying the same. Why would the government stay the same if it's going to be a Republican Party? Donald Trump is nothing like Biden. I mean, that's what we're told. That's what the thought is. It's blood and crips. It's supposed to change. Why would the government of the astrology stay in the same secretive and illusions? Because that's what I feel like the Democrats represent. No shade to all the Kamala lovers, but that's what Pisces represents. So it's staying in that same party. So I want you to understand that is what that also means. Okay. Let me see what else we have. Also Saturn in retrograde in Pisces can bring hidden things to the light. Okay. So what does that mean? Okay. So we all voted. If you did vote, okay. The vote is clear. President Trump, Donald Trump won the election. Now that is what happens when it's retrograding. But now Saturn is going forward in Pisces. So now the government, whoever is in charge of the government, can say, okay, let's bring these illusions back. They were seeing too much. How do we not have control over this? Now we can limit, because Saturn represents limits, and we can have the secrets and all the stuff that's supposed to be hidden in the limit box and restrict what they are supposed to see. Okay. Saturn is the planet of truth and accountability. And now when it's going direct, there is some change with that energy. I want you to know. And maybe it could bring some clarity, and murky waters are the opposite. When it's retrograding, we saw the clarity with the murky waters, and now that it's going direct, that illusion will come back. Okay. Now, what else do we have? Okay. Mars is opposing Pluto. Let me have a sip of water. If you guys are enjoying this so far, please do your due diligence and like. I forgot to even say that. Okay. I'm so into astrology. You guys like this video and comment down below, and I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay, so I want to talk about aspects now. Okay, now where was I? What was I? Yeah, Mars. Did I talk about Mercury? Yeah, talk about. Okay. Oh, I skipped one. Hold up. I didn't talk about the full moon. Okay, let's go back to now, and let me change this here. Okay, so November 15th is a very important day. Okay, very, very, very important. Why is it important? Because we have a full moon in Taurus. Now, usually the full moon doesn't mean that much for the government. It means a lot for Kamala. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this full moon is conjunct. Where's our full moon? Here's the full moon here. It's actually going to be in 22 degrees. 22 degrees is 24, 23, 20. Oh, it's about careers in the limelight here. Anyway, but Capricorn energy also too could be representing government, but 22 degrees. This is the important part. It's going to conjunct Uranus. Expect the unexpected, unpredictable, impulsive, fast, not compromising. Okay, whatever is going to happen may happen around November 15th. Now that is new. That's new information I'm giving you. Okay. So write it down. Could be happening November 15th. Okay. And it's something with what we value. Who do you value? You could value your president. Okay. And it's an earth sign. Earth energy is about stability and not changing and being very fixed, especially in that sign Taurus. It's very, very stubborn. But there could be sudden disruptions and surprises. Uranus conjunct that full moon of emotions, surprising developments, breaking away from traditional patterns, tension around technology, because the voting could represent that technology. Okay. Maybe even in social media, there will be disruptions. Okay. The voting infrastructure, such as the electoral iPads and the machines, or maybe cybersecurity, could be a thing. That's a little a stretch, but maybe I want to throw that out there. Okay. But there is resistance to change, but Uranus is coming to do a hard shove. Okay. It's not going to compromise. This is what's going on. Okay. The public may demand a change. I mean, I wouldn't see why that would happen, because the moon does represent the people of the United States, or the people of the land. However, there's some surprises coming away, but I just want to give you all of what it could comprehend. Okay, what you value will there will be a big surprise. Okay, the full moon is also going to illuminate. It's going to make the big surprise be bigger than ever. Okay, so I will talk about how that will affect Kamala and how that will affect Trump a little bit later. But I also want to talk about not just this full moon. I want to talk about another aspect that's been sitting here for a good minute, and that is Pluto opposing Mars. Okay, now these are two planets that are all about the fight, 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 fight. A lot of power struggles. Okay, force is very ruthless. It's about pushing too hard. There's also vulgar involved with this. So if you're feeling like you've been cursing lately, that is this aspect not being at its best. Now, normally, if when this was in the sign Cancer, it was really aggressive. Okay, in this one, it's not as much. And I just want to talk about Trump so much with this here, but we'll save it for Trump. Anyway, but it's also about power struggles and intense rivalries as well, manipulation and control, exposure of corruption, because Pluto is all about the corruption and the secrets and power imbalances. Okay. Yeah, but unearthing the truth, especially with this Pluto in a sign of Capricorn, which again is about the government. 29 degrees, an urgency to close something out. Let's see what this tension is going to bring. It is haunting us and staying here for a good minute. Now, Mars will go into sign Cancer, but it still will be opposing at Pluto. When Pluto enters Aquarius, it will still be opposing at Aquarius. Okay. Now, challenges in establishing power structures, because it does represent structures, it does represent government, conflict and disruption. Again, a lot of disruption, a lot of illusions, a lot of confusions with all of the planets with the vibe in the sky. Okay. Yeah, but we're also going to revisit this same little aspect around January 2nd. And when do we do the inauguration? January 15th. So I want you to be aware of that. Okay. Now, also another aspect I have is that Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter in the sign Gemini is going to square Saturn in the sign Pisces. Now, we're not going to go over every aspect, but why am I saying this aspect? Well, I want you to understand that when these two, this happens around Christmas Eve. Okay, Christmas Eve. Oh, let me just bump it there and go on Christmas Eve. Okay, Christmas Eve, we have this aspect here. Exactly at 14 degrees. You will be feeling it a little bit before, okay? Now, Jupiter, again, a communication. Jupiter is still retrograding, but Saturn is now direct. It is moving forward. It already had this problem, but we're repeating it. It's about restriction. It's about a missed opportunity. It's also about negativity. Saturn is very pessimistic. Negative results also. That is what this means, okay? This is the results. This is the discussion. This is us communicating. And now there's negativity and negative fog, a negative haze, a negative pessimistic illusion happening here, okay? The government being secretive and now the communication, okay? Public confusion, mistrust in government also is what you get with this. Challenges in communication and challenges in communication with the government. Again, confusion and uncertainty, ineffectiveness. It likes to be effective. Now it's ineffective because squares mean challenge. Okay. Now, another thing, which is a big one, and I saved this one for last, and I'm going to tell you how it connects to Trump and Kamala. Okay. And I hope I'm not giving you too much information. Okay. But I want you to understand that Mars is also going to, where's our Mars here? Mars is in a sign Leo. This is really great for Trump, but it's going to retrograde, right? So let me actually do weeks here. Okay. Mars is going to retrograde. There it goes. Mars retrograde, right? And actually, I have some dates here. Let me see where I have my dates here. Here we go. Mars is entered to sign Cancer September 4th. Okay, October 5th. Okay, November 4th, Mars entered Leo. December 6th is when Mars is going to start to retrograde in Leo. January 6th, it re-enters Cancer, but it's still retrograding, okay? And it goes direct February 23rd. By then, we should definitely know who's going to be president, okay? But I want you to understand that Mars is retrograding. It's not retro, it's in a pre-shadow phase now. But what does this have to do when it comes to our current election? Well, Leo represents our president. Straight up, not Donald Trump, our president, just president, the leader, as a broad statement, okay? So this is not just affecting America, this is affecting a lot of other countries. Now, it's reevaluating our leadership. There's tensions with power struggle because that Mars is like to, likes to rumble. It is the planet of war. Now there's tensions. Mars and Leo is going to amplify the competition, the prideful energy, and it could lead to clashes with our leaders, with our political rivals, even with some internal adversities. So whoever's fighting secretly, internally, that can happen. It's revisiting any bold or risky moves as well. Okay. Now I'm going to pull up Kamala's chart. This video is not supposed to be long because I am repeating myself, but I'm going to, let's see, Kamala, bring up Kamala's chart here, okay? And I'm going to go to now. Okay, so this is something that I want to explain. Oh, wait, let me see what we have here. Okay, GOP and Trump already illegally rigged and reprogrammed the voting machines to go win for Trump. I'm sorry that you feel that way. People are very passionate about this. Let's see. Now is the time for Biden to do what Trump planned to do, declare himself as president for life. Then I don't mean to laugh. It's just that, I mean, now it's time for Biden to say he's president. Biden has to step down. That is my personal opinion. There is rumors though that Kamala can say, oh, Biden is resign. I am now president and I will stay president. I'm just saying this could be a thing. Then declare, hand over Kamala as president. We got long statements here. Let me see what we have here. Sukiya also says the current word in America that many, at least 7 states vote count, will have to go back to be recounted. And I do believe that we will be recounting some things, the votes and challenge, and it will go back and forth for detecting the secret plan of voting rigging. I do think that could very much be possible, Sakia. Let me see what else we have here. We have another comment. I see a coup on the horizon. MMKK, we are Okay. If Trump win, it's reversed, and he has the support from the populace to pull it off. Okay, we will, because also a long time ago when I just randomly looked at Kamala's chart, and I'm like, wait a minute, she is going to be the winner here. A long time ago, when she was sitting at inauguration, we did have Pluto and the Sun conjunct. Pluto and the Sun conjunct is a lot of power information and struggles too. Okay, so it gets a little iffy with that, and we'll get into that as we get into the inauguration. Okay, but now let me just talk about Kamala. And yes, keep the comments coming. I'm here for them. Whether you're for Kamala and you're excited that she's winning, or I mean losing, I mean, no, I said that backwards. Whether you are in support of Kamala and you're like, why didn't she win? Go ahead and write your comments. Or if you are for Trump and say, yes, he deserved it, go ahead. I am here for all of it. Okay. I am, side note, I have a Mars in Gemini. I like to see both sides because I like to make my own decision of everything. Okay. No one's going to tell me. Let me see both sides and let me decide. Okay, now I do want to explain something, and I said this several times before. This house is, well, let me first say, right now, Venus and Mercury is in the sign Sagittarius in that seventh house. Okay. The seventh house represents, sure, it represents Kamala's VP. It represents Kamala and her aesthetics and her art and her lover. Okay. Her husband, her business partner. Yeah, it represents these things. But it also, one important thing, represents Donald Trump, her open enemy. Okay. Now, when you have Venus, a benefic planet here, this is what you naturally attract, and this is his support. So far from doing the election and doing astrology, actually, this is my first year doing election, and you see some major common themes, okay? And this is where they get their support. Now, this represents Trump. Trump has a lot of support. The day that I was doing the predictions of Venus and Sagittarius, and you can check out my old videos, I was like, Trump's on top, okay? Trump's getting a lot of support, a lot of very optimistic speeches, okay? Now, what did I say happens to Mercury? I said it retrogrades. And this is about Trump. It's in the sign Sagittarius, and it's going to go here and it's going to retrograde. And what's going to happen to poor Venus? Venus is going to leave the party soon, and it's going to go in her house of power and transformation in the sign government. Capricorn, okay? So that's just one thing, okay? She also was born during a full moon. And she was also born at night. Okay. So there is something that I want you guys to understand about Miss Kamala Harris. Okay. Every time so far there is a full moon, she blows the F up. Okay. All right. So she's born on a full moon. Yes. And she's born at night. So I think that moon, I'm not even going to say I think. The moon is very important to Kamala. It really helps her, okay? So when Biden stepped down, there was a full moon. The night that he stepped down and announced Kamala is going to be stepping in his place, there was a full moon. The night that the DNC, Democratic National Convention, started, there was a full moon in Aquarius, okay? Now, there is going to be November 15th, a full moon in Taurus, and you can expect the unexpected. This full moon is going to be sitting here, right here. This is where the moon will be moving. This moon will be here, and it's going to be sitting at that Uranus, expect the unexpected, on top of her Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion and being bigger. Now, sure, it's in the 12th house of secrets and endings, but it could be an ending of Trump, okay? However, I do want you to understand also, too, when she became vice president, the moon was sitting right there on her MC. The moon is so important for Kamala. And there's going to be a full moon, and I believe it's going to be big, and that's going to happen November 15th. So let's see what happens around that time, okay? Let me see what else we have. Oh, also, let me look at her. The full moon is going to be in Taurus, and in Taurus, we have the Venus. Venus is sitting pretty. Actually, let me see. No, yeah, okay, this is just a few days. Venus is sitting in that eighth house because that's going to be the ruler of this Taurus energy. And Venus is sitting in that eighth house. And the eighth house is, let me see if it's got any sextile, square. It's trining all this little energy here. That's kind of positive. Expect unexpected. It's trining her IC. That's really a big deal. Okay. Trining the IC is her being at home and what it represents her home, America. That's really positive for her. Okay. Let me see. Sextile her MC. The MC is her career and her being on stage. The full moon's going to be positive for her. Okay. That is what I see. Let me see what else I have here. Also what happens during the full moon. A lot of busyness things of happening on November 15th. Also, what happens November 15th is that Neptune is going to go direct, and it's sitting here in her 10th house of her being on stage. If you didn't know what the 10th house is, it's about your career and your public image. And now this is out of the fog, and now there is going to be some clearness. She's going to have now, this is, could be negative for a lot of people. Her being born at night, this might be a little bit more positive for her, and Mars might be a little negative. But this energy here is going to give her more responsibility, because that's what Saturn represents, responsibility in her career. Okay. Let me see what else I have here. Tim Watts. The seventh house also, I did say, could represent Tim Watts. It also could represent her aesthetics. Oh, also she's a Gemini rising. So the Mercury retrograding in its seventh house is going to be a big deal for Kamala as well, because she is a Gemini rising. Let me see what her rising is. 24 degrees. So when it hits 24 degrees, let me see. Doesn't look like it will. 22, it gets a little bit around 22 at the end of November. This could be affecting her in a big way too, so let's look out for that. I still think that she's still sitting on top, or maybe there is some confusion there when it comes to her, because the ascendant does represent you yourself, your body, in a way she thinks. So that could be happening. It is in a sign. She is a Gemini rising, because it could be the way she talks. We already know the way she talks. Okay. So that is what we have for Kamala. I do find that Mars retrograding in the sign Leo is really, really going to hit Donald Trump harder. And let's say why that happens. We'll go over to Trump, because if you see, first let me see, where's Mars here? Mars here is sitting here. It's not going to really touch this here. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't really touch this planet here for her. And I've discussed this already, so I don't want to go into detail, but Mars retrograding in the sign Leo and the sign Cancer doesn't affect Kamala as much as it affects Trump. Okay, so now let me go to Mr. Trump. I think it's exciting that he won. I've been watching both of the campaigns. I've been looking at all the podcasts they've been going on. Kamala did go on, Kamala went on, I was going to say Steve Harvey. What is the guy with the black hair? He's Jewish. He's been on radio for a long time. Harvey, something, whatever. She did go on there. She did go on Club Shay Shay. She did go on Call Him Daddy. She did the preacher thing, sure. And then Donald Trump went on all these young podcasts. I mean, they both went on young pod, but he really went on a young podcast. Anyway, but back to astrology with that. Okay, Mars sitting here. Okay, Mars is sitting in that first house. This is like, yes, you are president. That is what we have currently right now at 0 degrees. Very strong, very potent. This is our leader. Okay, yeah. But what happens to Mars? Mars starts to retrograde, which I've said several times. Look at this. Now the emotions. When this moon gets in that house, boy, this is when it gets around December 18th, around December 15th. Get ready for that. The negativity, the insecurity, the emotions of him being a leader. Mars is retrograding. What is the problem? We'll see how that affects him. It's not going to be positive, okay? Mars retrograding gets close to the transfer of power here, but it doesn't quite touch it. It's like, oh, yes, 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 you're going to be president. Oh, never mind. Okay. Leo does represent leadership. Never mind. That's not going to happen. Mars is achieving it, and what your drive and you're willing to, yes, go and do. But it's like it's getting close, but no, reverse. We got some things we got to do. Okay. Now, Mars sits here on top of his support. This could be good and bad conjunctions, but it's in that 12th house. It is hidden. The 12th house represents endings. The 12th house represents jail. The 12th house represents secrets. fogginess, illusions, addictions. Okay. So now it's sitting here. We may not see this. I think we will because everyone's watching, especially January 15th. Oh, that's another thing. January 15th is inauguration day. Why is he hiding? Why is his drive to do something in secret or limited of some sort or it's ending? That's another thing. Okay. November 15th. Let me go back to November 15th here, which is, if you did not remember, it is the full moon. The full moon is going to be in the sign Taurus, and it's sitting here. The full moon is going, oh, this full moon is sitting here with his Uranus in that 10th house. Expect the unexpected, and him sitting on stage. And him, this is also the same planet that got him shot in the ear, just so you know, okay? And the moon is sitting here opposing at the home next to his, no, that's not his, but opposing him at home and what he feels safe, and America as well. So the full moon does not look the best for him, because why you want to expect the unexpected when it comes to your career, when you are winning presidency? Why would that happen? Okay. Also, let's talk about the seventh house. You know how we talked about it for Kamala, and the Kamala, we had very positive planet when we had Venus sitting in that seventh house for Trump. It's representing Trump, and he's giving all the speeches and is very optimistic. And Mercury starts to retrograde, so that's not the best for Trump. But now with with Donald Trump, when it comes to his open enemies, why is this big old planet in that seventh house? Do we know what that means? That big old planet in that seventh house represents a transformation in power. And it's also in a sign of Aquarius, mean that this person, this is a futuristic power. This is a power that we've never seen. This is a power that you can't even fathom, which could be a woman of color who is president. Okay, that is what that represents. It's very strong, it's very potent. And when is it potent? At the end of November. Why would his open enemy have so much power? It's opposing his Mars, which is in his first house, his ego, his body, his drive. What is going on here? It doesn't look the best again for Donald Trump. Okay. December 7th, Venus is going to also enter this house here. Okay. And now, not only do we have the transfer of power, but the transfer of power is going to a woman. That's what Venus represents. First of a time, unexpected, surprise. I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like I can't unsee what I see. Okay. And now who has the support? Now who has the support? It is like flipped. Okay. Sure, Venus comes around every year to this, but this is not a coincidence. There's so many things going on in the sky that is relating to these things that's happening here, too. I do want you to understand, too, that the south node of releasing is in his communication of deceptions, and in regards of Libra, and Libra is the female energy, which also represents Venus. So there is something with that, too. There is a connection there with that. Let me see what else I have. Mercury retrograding is going to conjunct his south node. Okay, so when Mercury is, where is it? Mercury. Mercury is going to retrograde and it's going to come over here. It's going to conjunct his south node of releasing something and oppose his future. What is he supposed to achieve in his lifetime? Doesn't look very optimistic in the words that he's saying, in the way that he's thinking. Okay. Also, it's opposing his sun, and also it's opposing surprises. Another surprise. Okay. Not looking best for him. Okay. Jupiter in Gemini. Remember, I said it's going to square Saturn. And his is in the house of the eighth house of secrets, mysteries, endings, rebirth, and death. Okay. I just want you to understand that he has this here, and that's not going away. All right. So that is, I had Kamala. I am so sorry. I had Kamala sitting up there the whole time when it should have been Trump. But that is what we have for Trump. I'm going to re-say it. Mars is sitting on his ascendant. It's looking very positive currently right now. It's giving the whole image of a You guys, I was talking the whole time and then muted. You were probably telling me. No sound. Thank you, Greek son. Okay. I just want to tell you the things that I did not say, okay? I want to say that he's a Leo rising. So, this full moon is also a big deal for Trump, not necessarily in the best light, okay? Leo risings, they live off of the sun. If you didn't know he was a Leo rising, surprise, he is a tough cookie, okay? But that Leo rising, and when you have that full moon in the sign Taurus, that's really going to affect Trump as well. Also, I want to say that seventh house, when you have that Mars opposing the Pluto in that seventh house, that is huge. That's going to affect him. Let me see what else. What else do I have here that I didn't say? Yeah. Yeah, the north nodes and the south nodes are also very important. I said that in my electoral video. And then you have that Mercury retrograding, sitting on top of his south node and opposing his north node. Those are really huge. But most importantly, that Mars, that Mars. Also, it's affecting JD Vance too. Let me pull up JD Vance here. Mars retrograding is going to sit here and affect his sun. Okay, it's not his time, but it will be his time soon. Look at here, Uranus, and when that full moon happens in the sign Taurus, it's sitting close to his MC, and this is supposed to be his career. JD Vance has some time in the future, about 3 more years from now. He's going to be sitting pretty. I don't know if he'll win. I didn't look that far ahead, but far as currently right now, it's not happening. Also, RFK, he has some Leo placements, not looking the best. I think his Leos are here in a sign of work. Let me see if I have his chart here already. Let me see RFK. If I don't, no, I don't. Anyway, but his is not looking the best either. Okay. So that is what I have. I hope you guys, let me take Trump off. Listen to me. Let's see what happens around the full moon, November 15th. Let's see what happens around December. Okay. This is what I know. It's like, what are you talking about? January 15th is inauguration. These dates are going to be very important. And when I do, come back to this video and be like, Danyell, you told us, okay? All right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Write them in a comment down below. I will answer them even after I'm finished with this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. And also to check out my previous videos. I have discussed all of these things, but this is just me reiterating. I did add this full moon and I did discuss the full moon in my November video, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. I'm repeating myself for the people in the back and for my husband. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.